Hello guys, welcome back to Nostalgic Sensation. Vivian here. Thank you all so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. I just finished seeing the 9/11 video as the event unfold, and I must say it was a very intense experience and informative experience, and it was the first time I ever had to witness anything about the 9/11, and even still I do not have all the information. However, after seeing the video, I was curious. I wanted to know if anyone survived, how they survived, how they escaped. I wanted to understand, just did anybody survive? And I went into a little bit of digging, and I found this video, the BOATLIFT, an Untold Tale of the 9/11 Resilience, and I would be reacting to that video today. And before I dive right into the video, I would like to share some facts that I came across while I was doing some digging. Apparently, Ground Zero burned for 99 days, and over 3,000 people were killed, and it resulted in a huge loss in the economy. And apparently it's the first 9/11 is one of the first attacks that resulted into several US citizens' deaths as a result of attacks by outsiders. And what else did I see? Also, a woman survived for about 72 hours under the rubble. Very mind-blowing. And about 18 people were rescued from beneath the rubble. And let me know in the comment section if you have any more facts to share about the 9/11 event. Without further ado, I would like to dive right into the video because I'm really curious as to how the people were able to be resilient through this situation, because I must say it was a very horrible, terrible, scary situation to witness, and I'm like super curious as to how they managed to pull themselves through this situation. So let's dive right into the video.
I thought I was watching a movie, Towering Inferno at first. And then I looked real close and I noticed it was the World Trade Center. I was compelled, because I'm a type of person that can't stand by and watch other people suffer. And to me, they were suffering. They wanted to get off the island. And there was no way for them to get off the island other than the water. And I had noticed when I was watching the television, I saw a lot of the ferries going up into the slips and taking people off. I said, fine, we could do the same thing. I could take people on my boat, get in there, take them where they have to go. And that's what we did.
On the morning of September 11th, when the towers came down, millions of people ran for safety. Hundreds of thousands of them ran south to the water's edge. That's when they realized that Manhattan is indeed an island, and that they were trapped.
Can stop me right now. Even if I save one person or I rescue one person, that's one person less that will suffer and die.
were trying to evacuate Manhattan because nobody knew what was going on. You know, you didn't know if something else was going to happen. It was just a madness on one side and wanting to help people on the other side.
They were just streaming out of the buildings, and the first mode of transportation they saw was a ferry boat. That's when they knew, this is how I'm getting out of here. So they didn't even care where the boat was going.
There wasn't panic in New York in the beginning, just volume. It wasn't until the first building fell that there was panic.
You heard the building go down, but we're in the slip, so we can't see it. That's when we started letting go, and then all of a sudden, engulfed. You couldn't see anything.
People were actually jumping into the river and swimming out of Manhattan. Boats were very nearly running them over.
Wait. These people wanted out of Manhattan no matter any way they could.
Somebody wants you to go over there.
You have to pick them up.
They didn't know what was going on. They seen the building getting hit with these two planes. As far as they was concerned, we were being bombed. I was wondering if they were going to come on the boat, if they had people with bombs, or if they were going to come on. We're a big orange target in the middle of that harbor. My job is to keep the boat safe, my passengers safe, my crew safe.
Everybody was in shock, running around. They didn't want to leave their families. They had loved ones running around the city.
Everybody has a baby! Nobody has it!
There was one guy ran from the apron and jumped onto the boat. He grabbed onto the metal, climbed up right next to the pilot. So I'm going out there to say something. He slides down to the next deck. So the deckhands get him and go, what are you doing? He goes, I'm jumping for my life. So, you couldn't argue with him there.
There was a small boat that was at the lower tip of Manhattan. I thought the boat was going to flip over because so many people were trying to get on. And as I looked behind, they were just 10 deep. And that's kind of what gave us the idea.
We decided that this has to get better organized and we better do it, and that's what we did.
So we decided to make the call on the radio. All available boats. This is the United States Coast Guard aboard the pilot boat in New York. Anyone want to help with the evacuation of Lower Manhattan, report to Governor's Island.
When that call came on the radio, they were coming.
I was uncertain of who was going to respond. About 15, 20 minutes later, there were just boats all across the horizon.
Literally 100 targets converging on the lower part of Manhattan.
When we came out of that dust cloud, tugboats, I'd never seen so many tugboats all at once.
There was just like a fleet of tugboats headed to Manhattan.
If it floated and it could get there, it got there. All different size, shapes, and forms. And they were zooming across this water.
Ferries, private boats, party boats.
I worked on the water for 28 years. I've never seen that many boats come together at one time that fast. One radio call and it just came together just that fast.
Hundreds of boats converged on the city, leaving the sun-bathed harbor behind them. Dead ahead, the unknown.
That was something I won't forget. It was just low, dark, acrid, black smoke. It was like there was a big chimney in Manhattan. When we pulled into Pier 11, the dust was unbelievable.
And then out of nowhere, you just kept on seeing people coming.
They looked like zombies coming through the fog, and you knew that those were human beings.
Don't leave us Please don't leave us here. Take us. At that point, the Coast Guard said, not how many people are you allowed, how many people can you fit?
Come on, guys. Anybody coming? Get your ass over here now. Now. Come on.
Boats started hanging. Literally would take a bed sheet off a bunk and then a can of spray paint and paint their destination on.
Some of these people never been in the water, never been on a boat before.
Housewives, workers that do windows. We had executives. And the thing that was the best, everyone helped everyone.
I want you to hold my hand. Come on board. Get inside. One at a time. Get inside.
I saw 4 businessmen lifting up an old woman with a seeing eye dog, a German Shepherd, and they lifted her up like a surfboard and passed her over the handrails.
When we would carry a load of people over, and there was somebody standing there that seen their husband or wife, that made us feel even better, Well, at least we got 2 back together, Just keep on going, The guy that works at the ferry, he's a welder. His son was on my boat. He actually came up. He thanked me.
We went back and forth all day long, carrying boatloads, as many as our boat would hold. And it was a lot of people. A lot of people.
You couldn't have planned nothing to happen that fast, that quick.
No training. This was just people doing what they had to do that day.
You forget all about what you're supposed to do, what they teach you in school, and you say, you know what? Morally, this is the right way to go, and deep down, this is what I'm gonna do.
Average people, they stepped up, and when they needed to, they showed me, when the American people need to come together and pull together, they will do it.
I do feel a way honored that I was a part of it.
That was the greatest thing I ever did with my life.
The greatest day that I've ever seen in all my boating, my life on the water.
The Great Boat Lift of 9/11 became the largest sea evacuation in history. Larger than the evacuation of Dunkirk in World War II, where 339,000 British and French soldiers were rescued over the course of 9 days. On 9/11, nearly 500,000 civilians were rescued from Manhattan by boat. It took less than 9 hours.
I believe somebody has a little hero in them. You gotta look in, and it's in there. It'll come out, if need to be.
I have one theory in life. I never want to say the word I should have. If I do it and I fail, I tried. If I do it and I succeed, better for me. And I tell my children the same thing. Never go through life saying you should have. If you want to do something, you do it.
This was such a relief, in the sense that I was so worried after watching the 9/11, like, how did these people even get out of it? Because I kept hearing people say, I gotta go, I have to leave. Who wouldn't leave that kind of horrible situation? And the fear, because you do not even know when the next plane would hit, or even a grenade, because no one even knew what it was. And it is so refreshing to see that humanity is still very, very, very much alive. Just to chip in this in, I was one time in a conversation with someone, and we were talking about the beggars on the street, because if you come to Nigeria, because of the result of due to the bad economy, we have like tons of homeless people on the street begging for money. And then we were in the conversation, and somehow an argument, something that I realized later on that shouldn't even be an argument, came up. And it was a conversation of, should you even give these people money? And the reason why that was an argument was because of the fetish the belief that some of these beggars are so fetish to a point that when you give them money, they could take that money and use it to do some juju or some dark magic, something against you, something evil against you. Now, I'm not saying I do not believe that these things exist, but my desire to help people just kind of overwhelms that you can even refer to me as careless. Now, I was in this conversation and I somewhat allowed this person to actually get into my head, and after he was actually very good at arguing, and after he brought out all these points as to why you should not help these people, I didn't realize that my subconscious had digested that. Now, I was in transit and a little girl came to ask me for money, barely even clothes. She wasn't even putting on her slipper, and I wanted to give her money, but the whole conversation was echoing in my head, and there was this little fear that kind of held me back. And I was like, what if they use this money for something bad? But I was like, I mean, she's a child, I don't think she would do that. I mean my desire to just help kind of just overwhelmed all of that theory, and I gave this little girl 15 naira, which is a very, very small denomination, and in reality can barely do anything. And this little girl, we had 2 little feet. She took this money and she walked very small. She was very small, and she just walked to a lady that was like selling food, and I saw her begging the lady to sell a portion of 15 naira food, which is like a very small denomination that can barely do anything. And it was kind of the only change I had on me, and the amount I even gave her was an influence of all that impact that conversation had on me. In that instance, I broke into tears because this little girl was hungry. She was hungry, and that 15 naira was something. And at the end of the day, you don't let people get to you. You don't say you should have. You shouldn't. If you feel like doing something that is morally good, just like this video we saw, just do it. It could be careless, it could be foolish, but just do it. And this video, more than anything, restores my faith in humanity. And I know that the 9/11 event was very, very, very horrible, terrible, and scary, but this is sort of like a little bit of a consolation, and it kind of brings back my hope in humanity and renewed my hope in being good, and just strengthening my moral understanding of what being good is and what being a superhero is. Now, if you're watching this video and you've gotten to this point, thank you so much. I would really appreciate it if you comment in the comment section one of the you should have that moments that you regretted, or you should have moments that you're really happy you never held back on. One of your favorite superhero moments. It could have been your mom, your dad, yourself. One of the most selfless things you've ever done, or anybody around you has ever done, in a bit of love. Now, thank you all so much once again for watching. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, comment, and if you missed my reaction on 9/11 as it happened, please check the link down below and you'll see my reaction on the 9/11. Thank you all so much once again for watching. Have an awesome one. Bye.